Brianna here.
And I guess we chose to do a dual presentation topic on colorism and how it affects black women right here in America.
Absolutely.
I guess I'm going to be, of course, coming from the perspective of a darker skinned woman who's going to be talking about colorism and the way it affects darker skinned women.
And I'm just going to be talking about the stereotypical light skin. I'm black. We didn't talk about this, but from the light skin standpoint.
All right, let's get this started. Take it back to slavery. You got to think about there was the house slaves and then you had the field slaves. House slaves being the products of the masses were walking out there into the field and taking the black woman for his sexual pleasures, having children, and then keeping them around the house to do the housework and stuff, and because they're lighter skin tones, and then they put the black people stayed out there in the field. That was a way of them keeping us divided so that we can be conquered, because what would happen was you have the people in the house. Masters, he does good by us, he treating us good, and if you run away, you start doing all that stuff out there, you gonna ruin it, you gonna mess it up for us. So what they would do is the people in the house, their moms were so trained to feel like they were being treated well that they would turn on the people outside, darker skinned people. And if you look at our society nowadays, it's still the same way. They sometimes light skinned people have this way of feeling like they're more than, and that we and that they might have different opportunities, and then black people, darker skinned people, it's sometimes harder for us to feel like that we are accepted even within our own community, because we feel like that people look down upon us, or that we're not seen as being as attractive or as worthy as certain opportunities, especially physically, as the lighter skinned people. But that's something that's been ingrained in our culture since slavery. My favorite thing to say, don't worry, I got it. So first things first, I guess I'll talk to you about my first experiences with colorism. I really happened at a super young age. I think my first experience was growing up. I have a twin sister, and she's lighter than me, of course. And I had this one cousin, and he was super light skinned, light bright. And I never told my mom, my grandma, or my uncle, or anyone really about the story. But I would get so upset when my grandma would tell me that my little cousin was coming over, because they didn't know that when he would come over, I would just go behind the bed and I would cry. And so then when he would come over, I would come out, of course, and act like everything was fine. But it's just that I knew that I was going to be miserable the whole time that he was there, because being super light skinned, I'm not sure how he was being raised at home, but he wouldn't play with me, and he would stick his tongue out at me. He would nana, he would push me, he would take me until I couldn't touch his toys, and he would say that he was only going to play with my sister because they were light skinned and I was dark skinned, and he didn't play with darkies. And as a little kid, I didn't really understand this being colorism, of course, but I just knew that it was something that was my first experience and first taste of knowing that dark skin was maybe a less admirable, way of being. And that was when I was 4 or 5, and so I kind of experienced that from a young age. I don't know if it really caused me as much trauma as I guess it could have, maybe in the long run, or thinking back on it, maybe it did, but I just know that was probably my first experience with, knowing that I was dark skinned and that it made me different than, my lighter skin, family members.
Well, for me, growing up, my family is very diverse. I do have white people, full-on black, Mexican, and things of that nature. I've always viewed myself as a black woman with a twist, as I like to say in my own terms. Reason being is because I grew up in a black household, a black mother, a black father. Looking back on my life as far as pictures and stuff, I would see that my skin tone was very, very different than my brother's, which we both have different dads. And so I never seen it as a point of, oh, I'm yellow and my brother is brown skin or a little darker than myself. I just I'm one of those people that's stereotypical. I don't see color, although it is very present and in my face. Um, and I mean, as far as how I view myself, I was bullied and things of that nature growing up, as far as me being lighter by darker skinned women throughout my middle school and high school. And so that kind of it it stripped my confidence, but it also helped me build myself back up because I had to sit down and actually have a conversation with my grandmother and my mom and dad about, what are we like? Is there something else that we are besides black? Because looking back, my mom didn't have the best relationship with her dad, whom is Creole and Mexican. And so I knew like it was something else, something other there. That's what the twist comes from. But I've never, as far as my friends go or family members, we're all a blend of everything. So I've never wanted anybody to feel other than loved from me. So.
So I guess now we'll just talk about um, what is colorism. So, according to this definition I have, colorism is prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnicity or racial group. Furthermore, colorism is known as the principle that those with lighter and or fairer skin are treated with a higher regard than those with darker skin, and it happens both between racial communities and within them. Um, with that being said, um, it's always interesting to hear the perspectives of both light skinned and dark skinned people because, from one side, you get the whole being dark skinned, we go through so much more than light skinned people. And then light skinned people, they have their, yeah, but we go through stuff too. You don't know what we go through. And I guess sometimes it can be very hard to see the other person's plight in this skin color issue that we seem to have here within the black community. But I guess from my point of view, in my opinion, I would say that I feel like darker skinned women, especially here in America. Well, I can't even say especially here in America because I mean it's everywhere. It's just like this, if not worse. But for class purposes, I always feel like dark skinned women in America do have it worse than light skinned women. I mean, you can just forget the rest of the world. We can just start with the black community. Like, come on, let's talk about TV shows for first things first. Let's take it to Martin. That's what I'm gonna tell you, Professor Bethune. I cannot stand that TV show because in the TV show,
Martin.
in the TV, of course you do, but in the TV show, for instance, you got Gina and Pam. Gina, light skinned woman. Pam, dark skinned woman. Growing up, we used to watch the show. We used to watch the show. We used to laugh at it, think it was funny, that Martin used to bark at Pam, call her dog, kick her out the house, and all that kind of stuff. But then it's like now that we've grown older and we know that we learn about colorism, learn about, what they even went through on the show, you start thinking, okay, so Gina, light-skinned woman, she's sitting here, she has the home, she's the leading lady, she's his girlfriend, his wife, his boo-boo, his baby. Then you got Pam. She a horse, she a dog, she a donkey, she a mule, she got big teeth, she getting kicked out the crib. Everything that Martin used to joke on her about is everything that stereotypically darker skinned black women are called in our society as a joke or most of the time as an insult. But in that show, it was portrayed in a funny, joking way. And it's like, why is Gina get to be, the leading lady, the lady who's loved and put up in the home and with Martin? But every time he see Pam, she got to be loud. She got to be get a roll on her neck, ratchet. She got to be doing all of that. Then you take it even farther with Shanae. Shanae was Martin's criticism and parody of the black woman. Like he literally made her as ratchet, ghetto, and stereotypically project as he possibly could. She had the long nails, the neck roll, the slur, the broken language, the outfits, everything. Probably everything how he viewed Pam. Now he could have got somebody else to play that role. They could have been light skinned. No, he purposely played Shanae that ratchet and that tragic on purpose. Because same way he used to play Pam. And it's like take the movie Coming to America. I forgot who I was talking to this about, but you got the sister. Yeah, she was one of them, but it was somebody else earlier. You had the sister who Ahmad he wanted in the movie, lighter skin. She was being fought over by two men, educated, cool, calm, and collected, upholding herself. Just sitting there, just so lovely. Then her little sister, dark skin, of course. She loud, she promiscuous, she thotting and bopping, thirsty for a man. She out here doing anything and everything to get the attention of a man if she was just as attractive and worthy as her sister was. But a lot of times as black people, we can watch those movies and just blow it off or maybe not even recognize it and play it off as a coincidence. But no, that stuff is actually like done intentionally.
She's gonna let me talk. I'm Taylor Swift, by the way. Anywho, although I do agree with my friend here, I will have to say I kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel as far as her talking about those TV shows. One of the things would be in Coming to America. The African Queen Mother being a darker skinned woman, she was very beautiful. And I will say this is on the record, off the record, whatever. There are some very beautiful brown and dark skinned women out here, and they are shitting on some of the light skinned mixed girls. Let's just put that out there. But as far as Martin goes, I did tell her growing up I was a little bit oblivious as far as noticing the parody of Martin treating Pam pretty much like trash, because it always seemed like they were back and forth, so it was very comical. So I overlooked the whole, oh, but she's, dark skinned. Oh, but Gina's getting treated good over here and she's light skinned. I didn't look at that. One of my favorite shows growing up was It's a Different World. And yes, I do love me some Whitley Gilbert. And yes, she just so happens to be light, bright, and damn near white or mixed, whatever. But I just loved her personality. Yes, she was light skinned, and I did see the contrast between her having a dark skinned best friend, which was Kim or Kimberly, and to me Kim stood out a little bit more than Whitley, because she was, she's a doctor. She had this Jamaican man fighting for her, wanting to propose to her in every episode, every chance he got. And Whitley and Dwayne, although their story was very beautiful, it was just nice to see a hardworking black woman go to class and not her tagline and her storyline not be about a guy, if that makes sense. And so we were also both talking about the Proud Family and how Dejanay is the stereotypical loud ghetto black girl, and Penny is, light skin, fair skin, and the boy that Dejanay wants Penny. And so it's very hard when you look back on TV shows that we grew up on and you're like, oh, this is holy shit, this is real. But I mean, it's what's going on. And as far as me, I don't know, seeing myself as oblivious to light skin, dark skin in the world and how darker skinned women have it harder, I will say in my family that I do feel that there's a little bit of oddness as far as people being light skinned and dark skinned and the feelings. Will I say that their journey is harder than mine? I won't say that it is or that it is not, because I haven't walked a day in a dark skinned woman's shoes. So I would be stupid to say, oh, they don't have it hard, you're just, overthinking. It's not true. But I will say that just because you're light skinned doesn't mean you have it easy. Just because you're dark skinned doesn't mean that, you're doomed.
I guess what I'm trying to say is the fact that, like, within our own race, there is a system of oppression that's working. I mean, I guess it's been perpetrated onto us by another, by racism, which, filtrated into us and made the psychological and transformed into colorism, the long thing about it. But I guess it, like Rihanna said, it is something that we're going to have to, if we want to be able to, I guess, overcome the things that our race is being subjected to just on the outside, especially as women. Like, we're gonna have to conquer that on the inside first. And it's like, when you think about how evil like white people are, like
White devils.
they have literally subjected us to so much like psychological trauma, including mixing their whiteness up with our blackness. That's then caused all these issues. And one of the main ones being colorism. And it's like they did that on purpose so that we can never, because if black people was to connect together, all come together and really work together, our climb to the top would be so magnanimous. They wouldn't even be able to do anything about it. But the things that they've set in place, the systems of oppression, institutionalized all these different things that will continuously separate us, it was almost kind of genius, evil genius, if you really think about the way that it keeps us down. But that's the way they designed it to be in the first place. And especially with like black women, there are so many things, separating us, and with colorism, it's not just about skin color. It's hair. It goes to the hair texture, and it goes into everything.
It goes to curves. It goes to ass.
It goes to everything. To whereas trying to make one person feel like they better than the other person, which automatically pits those two people against each other in a power struggle. Once two people into the room, and it's just like, how can we build and grow and move to the top if we sitting here we're sitting here focused on who's better than who based on the amount of melanin in your skin color?
We're acting like crabs in a barrel, And so another thing is going back to what Tiara said about, what did you say? I'm having a moment.
I'll be talking a lot.
Bless it. But just going back to the Jim Crow laws about division, if you really think about it, it was very ingenious, evil genius, however you want to quote the term, of how they separated and divided it. And, dividing you shall conquer, because at the end of the day, it's all about pretty much if you can physically harm someone, but once you have their mind, they're pretty much messed up forever. One of my favorite movies is Straight Outta Compton, but what I will say is learning the background story of the women who were casted really disgusted me. I will say that learning that they did like a color test about you're in category A, B, C, or D. D is dark-skinned women with kind of kinkier hair. C is brown dark with somewhat of good hair, and B is brown skin, light skin women with good hair, and A is full on light skin or mixed with good hair. And I just think that that's so disgusting, and it really puts a not even on a colorism level, but on a patriarchal level of who's over these movies and who's footing the bill to say, oh, let's pick women this way off of looks versus talent. And that goes back to Nina Simone. I absolutely love Zoe Saldana, and I love her from Drumline all the way up into Colombiana, but she was not the golden girl for that biopic, and that's just facts. So Dr. Should I say doctor?
Yeah.
So Dr. Bethune, in conclusion, to wrap up this video, we just want to first off say that colorism does exist, but along the lines of valuing yourself, your friends, peers, and whom that you come into contact with, that the cycle of colorism can be lessened, and eventually it can be deceased. And so by us doing this video, we just want to show that yeah, it exists, but by even our friendship, that we're able to coexist with it still being there, but able to talk it out versus have this hierarchy. And thank you for this assignment, and we're glad that we're able to expound on a very heavy topic. Thank you.
Thank you. Hope you enjoy.